Hey, if you know me, I'm not a big feelings guy. I could not care less about anybody's feelings, to be honest with you. But USC's defense is starting to create some feelings across the country with their opponents and with the recruits.
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Holkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC, part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube, wherever you want to download your podcast, the show is always going to be free, and you know I'm always going to appreciate your support. Today's episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Go to the number 5hourenergy.com and use promo code LOCKEDONCFB, and you can receive 20% off your order. You've heard me talk about this before. I've talked about how much things have changed since Coach Lynns took over USC's defense. Significant difference. I mean, the first thing he wanted to do was get some obnoxious communication going. Not just on the field, off the field as well, in the locker room. Communicate. Make sure everybody knows exactly how you feel, where you are, where things stand. Well, the players know where they stand, and they're starting to let other people know where they stand. They love to talk after the game. They especially love to talk after a win. And when players talk, you want to start looking and listening for certain key catchphrases, certain things that each player is saying that sounds the same. You hear it on the news all the time. It's almost like the newscasters are reading from the same script that's being handed down to them. Anyways, I kept hearing the same couple words after the last game. Heard it from 3 different players. Complementary football. I heard Jamil Muhammad say it. I heard Easton Mascarenas-Arnold say it. I heard backup quarterback Jaden Ibotta say it. Miller Moss said it. When USC pitched a 48-0 shutout over Utah State this past weekend, listen to what Easton Mascarenas-Arnold said. Quote, I think that's just a good visualization of our defense and how much work we've put in. I think the scoreboard and statistics doesn't really show how well the defense might have done. The standard is the standard on our side of the ball, and I think that's the standard for the whole team. We know that we've got work to do, and I think we did a good job of execution today playing complementary football. Shout out to the offense. Time of possession today. That helps the defense out all the time. Credit to them. Credit to special teams. I think we played a good 4-quarter battle today, end quote. So you heard about complementary football. You heard Easton talk about the time of possession stat. Well, Coach Riley has talked about that as well. But he's also said how that time of possession, it's really an empty stat that he doesn't like to talk about unless you are putting up points. Well, USC put up points. They put up 48. They scored all 8 times they got into the red zone. Actually could have scored more points. And I loved the way the offense controlled the clock. And, you know, that's what Easton was talking about. Again, I would have loved it even more had the offense not had some of those mental mistakes. The skill players, and Miller talked about it after the game, how they need to clean up those things, and he was including himself into it. I mean, when we talk about complementary football, when your offense is giving the defense 48 points, and it probably should have been more, the offense did their job. And when the defense is only giving up 0 points, they're doing their job. Miller Moss is a team captain. I'll be surprised if he's not picked team captain every week, but that's what they're doing right now on a weekly basis. He's a natural born leader. From everything he does on the field, off the field, he talked about how the skill guys on offense need to be more complementary. Quote, the offensive line played their butts off. That kind of showed itself in the balance that we had offensively. Really proud of those guys and how they played up front. But skill guys, the skill players, myself included, we've got to clean some stuff up. He was alluding to You had Jacoby Lane, you had Zachariah Branch. They both dropped easy touchdowns, and they'll tell you the same thing. They both dropped easy touchdowns. Shouldn't have happened. Mekhi Lemon had a chance to have an explosive play. Miller Moss underthrew him. Remember that trick play? That should have been an easy score. I like the way USC's offense played complementary football, though, right? You had 295 yards passing, 250 yards on the ground rushing. That's balance. That'll get it done. I mean, look, it's hard to complain when USC wins 48-0. But again, it could have been worse. If the passing game cleans itself up a little bit, you have the offensive line establish the running game early. That's a positive. But when you get into the red zone, you're down around the 5-yard line, let the running backs finish. Let the offensive line finish the job they did. Don't get cute. Here's another example of complementary football. The tight ends, their involvement. And I'll just talk about blocking, which they did a great job. They got room to improve there. They missed a couple, but catching the ball. I asked Blake McCree after the game, I asked him, how much more fun is it, to see the tight ends involved in the offense? Look, we have a bigger room, a lot of guys that can bring something to the table. It's probably the best tight end room I've been around since I've been here. We have a really deep room, so I think that helps. Miller Moss, he kind of echoed the same thing. Me and Lake are obviously really close off the field, spend a ton of time together, spend countless hours throwing together. So I think that you kind of see that when we play together. I have a lot of trust and faith in him. He delivered in the way that I've expected him to, and in the way the offense has expected him to as well. I need to close this segment with the defense. They deserve a lot more credit. They got into my feelings. I was really happy with what I was watching after Saturday's game, during Saturday's game, and well after it. They just did a fantastic job. There's no other way to say it. And I love Jamil Muhammad's feelings after the game regarding the defense. He said that we can be consistent, that we are learning how to win, also how to respond. While there's also a good test of how you respond to adversity, there's also a test of how you respond to success as well. And I guess we had a little bit of that in the first game, how we're going to respond to, quote unquote, some success. Even though we feel like we have done things much better, I feel like we did pretty good of that today, but we have to keep moving forward, close quote. The feeling after watching USC pitch a shutout is that I'm wondering, can they do it again? Can they get another one? Michigan is up next, and I know they have issues on offense. If you watch that game against Texas, they have quarterback issues, and they're just not very creative on offense. That's going to be USC's first road game in the big conference. And I have a feeling they're going to be prepared. With this staff, they're going to be ready to play in Michigan against the national champions. We'll see how they perform. They got 2 weeks to get ready. But I like the feeling. You hear me using that term a lot. The defense, they're making people feel something different about this USC team. And I'm not just talking about USC fans feeling something different. I'm talking about nationally. The country's starting to feel something a little bit different. Recruits are feeling something. Hey, it's Monday. I told you Mondays are always rough for me. 5-hour energy shot, that's the thing I need. And if you're like me, you probably get tired after lunch, but you're not alone. Research shows 70% of us hit the wall after lunch. That's a lot. Let 5-hour energy shot help you leap over that wall instead of kind of crashing into it. Did you know that 5-hour energy has 0 sugar? It comes in a convenient portable size. You can pack it away whenever you want. Put in your pocket. That's how small it is. And it's the perfect pick-me-up for getting stuff done. Here's what you do. Go to their website. Go to the 5-hour energy website. They got every single flavor you want. Watermelon, tropical, burst, grape, berry. There's a flavor for everyone. That's what I'm trying to say. They got flavors for everyone. And when you're on their site, you can even build the option for a 12-pack, 24-pack, whatever you want. They'll deliver it right to your front door. All you have to do is go to the number 5hourenergy.com. That's the number 5hourenergy.com and get some of that product today. And if you use my promo code LOCKEDONUSC, you'll get to receive 20% off your order. Use your energy now. This offer is only valid until September 30th, and you can only use it on one order, and you can't combine it with other promotions. As well, this code is not good on subscription orders. Go to the number 5hourenergy.com today and order yours. Let me ask you something. Question: is USC one of the best teams in the country? Utah State's head coach Nate Dreiling, he thinks they might be. This is what he had to say. He was all into his feelings after the game. First off, hats off to USC. They proved why they're one of the best teams in the country, and they did an unbelievable job on offense and defense. They're going to be hard to beat. Let me say this again. Getting a shutout in today's world of college football, it's hard. I mean, even bad teams will get a field goal when they're going up against other teams' backups at the end of the game. Usually, if you're pitching a shutout, by the end of the game, you're going up against backups. Well, USC's backups, they were into their feelings. They did not want to give up that shutout. You should have seen the enthusiasm, the excitement when the players like Jade Abasiri, Cam Fountain, the freshmen, when they were able to contribute at the end of the game and preserve that shutout. Big time. That resonates. Excuse me. Utah State's head coach, he was asked about his feelings about not being able to put up points. Let me get a little bit deeper into what he had to say. I mean, LSU was one of the best teams in the country, and they only scored 20 points. So points are hard to come by when you're playing an unbelievable team that is well coached. I thought early on we had some drives, but then we just had a couple of tip balls, some turnovers, some penalties. It was just hard. Hats off to USC. They're going to be a hard team to beat this year. I thought our O-line did a great job of finishing. I thought we ran the ball better. I thought we were getting pushed up front. It's just tough to keep the ball and keep the possession going. That was Utah State's head coach. As far as defending USC, here's his thoughts even further. The whole object on defense was to create long drives. And when the opportunity comes, capitalize on a mistake. The only problem was USC didn't make any mistakes. We couldn't capitalize on them. Our players were a little shell-shocked and weren't really playing our type of football early on. And it appeared in our run fits. Once they settled in, we did a much better job. Then it just came down to tackling some of the best athletes in the world. And we were not able to do that consistently. Not enough to get off the field. Well, you got to like what that sounds like. I like the way that sounds like. Makes me feel good. I'm sure the players heard it. The coaching staff, USC's coaching staff, probably made them feel good. But hopefully they're not resting on those laurels. They just get back to work. They got 2 weeks to get ready for Michigan. Here's another view of USC's defense in 2024. Hats off to those guys. They're playing unbelievable defense. With this offense, they're hard to stop because they're so explosive. But now they have a defense that has always been talented, but it's so sound as well. It's unbelievable how well they're teaching their players to play. They have length, and now they know how to use their length. And that's why they have a chance, not only to be one of the best offenses in the country, but possibly one of the best defenses. So that over there, that is a complete football team right now. That's going to play a long, long, long time. Look at that. 3 for emphasis. Those weren't my words. Those were the Utah State head coach. And he knows a thing or two about defense. He helped New Mexico State go into Jordan-Hare in Auburn, Alabama last year, helped New Mexico State win. They left Auburn, Alabama with a win. They thought they were going to be able to compete against USC. They weren't even in the same zip code. That's credit to USC. Credit to their coaching staff. You want to know my favorite stat about USC's defense after 2 games? This blew me away. This made my skin crawl in a good way. Gave me goosebumps. Made the short curly stand up on the back of my neck. The USC defense with Coach Antonlynn in charge has yet to allow a first down on any 3rd down and 7 yards or more through 2 games. Did you hear that, USC fan? Think about it. How many 3rd and longs over these last couple of years have we watched USC's defense allow a first down? How many? I mean, think about all those 3rd and 12s, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 18, 3rd and 7. Look, I don't know about you, but I like that feeling that others have about this program right now. And here's a nice little caveat. You've got analysts recognizing it. You've got college coaches recognizing it. You got USC's opposition recognizing it. I said it at the end of the first segment. Now let me say it to you at the end of the second segment, because we're going to talk about recruiting. The recruits are noticing this as well. Okay? Winning is the best cure. And USC is starting to show, hey, you know what? We can play more than offense out here, USC. We can play defense. If they continue to play like they're playing, winning games, looking good on both sides of the ball, I know where USC's recruiting class is ranked right now. I know where it'll be ranked come December with that first early signing period. All USC has to do is continue to win, continue to play defense, continue to develop the way they're developing. Everything's going to be just fine. Want to know why? Stick around for the next segment. I'll tell you why. Hey, I know summertime officially ended with the Labor Day weekend, but the heat hasn't stopped. It's still summer out there, which means it's still barbecue season. And that's going to give you a chance to stock up on all of your grilling favorites. Steaks, chicken, hot dogs, hamburgers. Get on over there. And you don't have to choose anymore. You can choose whatever you want because you're using Ibata. Ibata is a free app that lets you earn cash back every single time you shop. And did you know that the average Ibata user earns $256 per year? That's cool. You could buy a lot of hot dogs, a lot of hamburgers with $256. Other apps that are out there, they give you points that really don't amount to much. With Ibata, you earn cash back that you can withdraw to your bank account. You can put it on your PayPal account. You can put it on a gift card. It's up to you. It's cash. It's yours. Simply add the app, upload your receipt, and voila. The money, again, is yours. And did you know you can save on over 2,400 different brands? You can shop at over 1,000 different retailers when you're using Ibata, including your favorite grocery stores. It's time you join the over 50 million users who use Ibata to earn cash back every time they shop. Right now, Ibata is offering Locked On USC listeners $5. All you got to do is try it. Just try Ibata. Use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE when you register. They're going to give you $5. Just go to the App Store or the Google Play Store and download the free Ibata app to start earning cash back. And use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE. That's I, B like boy, O-T-T-A in the Google Play or App Store, and use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE. After yesterday's instant reaction, talking about USC's win, one of my everydayers said, hey, how about a recruiting update? Hey, everydayer, here's your recruiting update. I want to thank everybody for sticking around through the show. I know I see my little Wi-Fi thing. It happened around 6 minutes into the show. I don't know what's causing it. I'll get it figured out. It appears to happen after 9 p.m. at night. Someone is draining my Wi-Fi. I'll get it figured out. I apologize. Listen to the content. Stop telling me what's going wrong. I know what's going wrong. Let's talk about what's going right with the recruits. A lot is going right now. They've noticed USC's defense. I said it. Winning will cure a lot of problems, especially when it comes to recruiting. On the defensive side of the ball, USC has had to work harder than probably anybody else. They're trying to wash that taste out of everybody's mouth. They saw what USC's defense looked with Lincoln Riley for the first 2 years. Well, Alex Grinch is now Wisconsin's co-defensive coordinator. He's not involved with USC anymore. The recruits needed to see a change, and they're seeing it. They wanted to see a proof of concept. They didn't want to hear the words. They wanted to see it. Well, it's only been 2 games, but I think reality is now starting to set in. This is how well reality is setting in. You might have heard this name before. His name's Ty Jackson. He is considered the #1 ranked linebacker in the 2025 class, according to the On3 industry. He took an official visit to USC over the weekend. Saw some good stuff. Ty Jackson, 6'2", 205 pounds. Again, considered the #1 linebacker and the number 25 overall prospect nationally, according to On3. He is also considered the #4 overall recruit in the state of Florida this cycle. That means he's a really good player, tremendous athlete. Florida has a lot of good players. I would say California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, those are your 4 main states for producing high-level athletes for Division I football. So far, in his first 3 seasons of playing high school football, this is all Jackson has done. He's recorded 378 tackles, 15 of those for a loss. He has 6 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, 4 interceptions, and 2 fumble recoveries. For what it's worth, during his sophomore and junior years, he broke the school record in tackles. And he's got his entire senior year of high school to play. Not bad. Well, this is what his high school coach had to say about Ty. He is an unbelievable football player. He is a phenomenal athlete, and he plays with such humility. Very humble. He is everything you want athletically, on and off the field. He is such a gifted athlete and an extremely hard worker. So after the game, USC shuts out Utah State 48-0. You know, my recruiting guru, Scott Schrader, over there at WeAreSC.com, part of the On3 network, he put a prediction in for the game. By the time I woke up around 11:30 Sunday morning, I got to bed Sunday morning at 6:30. I woke up to Jackson had committed to USC. Aren't you glad you stuck around for this segment of this episode? USC just got a linebacker commitment, the #1 linebacker, according to On3. That's a result of what happened in the game. That's a result of USC not stopping the relationship, continuing to communicate, getting him on campus. Jackson released a list of top 10 schools back in February. USC's name wasn't on that list yet. It was Alabama, it was Florida, it was Florida State, it was Georgia, Miami, Oklahoma, Penn State, Syracuse, Tennessee, and Texas A&M. Well, Coach Henne did not give up. He continued that communication process. He was probably obnoxious about it. And because of that communication, Coach Henne was able to convince, hey, Ty, come on out this weekend. Let's do an official visit. Let me show you what we're doing. You don't have to hear about it anymore. Let me show you. See it for your own eyes. This is what Ty said after his visit. About the visit. I just really want to see what it's all about because I talked to Coach a lot and we've built a really good relationship. He said, I'd get a better feel seeing it in person. The first impression will be very important, but I'm ready for that. I got to think USC made a good first impression. 48-0 shutout. You get a commitment. Will it stick? I don't know. We've been through this before. Once Coach Henne gets somebody's feelings all worked up, Justice Terry, yeah, Isaiah, the safety, all those guys who decommitted, we'll see if this one sticks. I think the more proof of concept that's out there, more of these commitments are going to stick. Let me give you some more feelings that are out there that recruits are seeing. I mentioned Scott Schrader. He hit up Nathaniel Owusu Boateng. big-time athlete from IMG Academy. This is what he's seen from USC so far. That defense is playing lights out right now. Coach Antonlynn and his guys aren't playing. They came in and went straight to work, and you can see the passion and the intensity that those guys are playing with right now. I plan to see him fairly soon. So let me ask you this question, listeners, viewers. Hit me up in the comment section. Do you think Michigan and Notre Dame are still considered the favorites? I'm sure you saw what happened to Michigan at home against Texas. Wasn't pretty. I'm sure you watched Notre Dame lose at home to Northern Illinois. That wasn't pretty. What are the cornerbacks thinking? Well, got a couple how about this cornerback? How about a couple of commits? One from 2025. Preston Castro. This was his thoughts after watching the game. Man, it's a brotherhood that's hungry. They are proving all the doubters wrong and making them eat their words. When you have a coach like Lynn and Belk that's well respected, you trust them. That's the reason why I committed when I did. I felt every word they were speaking. I trusted them from the start, and I knew they were going to bring something special to the program. I want to be a part of their history and learn from the best. You hear about feelings, how he felt? That is what we're talking about on this show. Talked about in the first segment, talked about in the second segment, talking about now with the recruits. What about class of 2026 commit? Cornerback, Madden Reardon. Well, by the way, he was playing on Saturday, so he only got to see part of the game. While he was playing for Sierra Canyon, got another interception. It's his 6th of the year. Not bad. So Madden also was out in Las Vegas. He saw USC take care of LSU. Quote, I've seen a complete 180 from last year. They have better communication. They're playing more physical, knowing their assignment, and trusting their teammates. Madden's feeling it. He can't wait. He cannot wait. I mean, Shamar Arnu, the cornerback from out there in New Orleans. Excuse me. He plays with Juju Lewis, Carrollton. He likes what he sees. He can feel it. There's a lot going on with this program right now. A lot of good stuff. Most importantly, that defense is playing complementary football with USC's offense. USC has a bye week this week. We'll see. I'm going to have all the news and notes and information you need. I'm still waiting to find out when USC is practicing this week, times and all that. I'll be out there. I'll let you know. But as I continue to get more recruiting information, I'll give you the feedback, get you all those injury updates. We'll see what happens when we talk to Lincoln Riley this week. I'll be back with another 5 episodes. In fact, I don't even know how many episodes. We might go every day for the rest of the year. We'll see what happens. But until that next episode of Locked on USC, everyone, you know what to do.